It's Monday, October 26, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Before we start, I want to remind everybody to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. If you've already subscribed, make sure you hit the bell notification down below so that you are alerted with the newest video. Also, make sure you come over to my Patreon channel. It's $3 if you're having a hard time finding it. Just go to my website, link down below, jeremiahbabe.com. It'll take you right to it. But over there, we can talk a little bit more freely and openly about what's happening politically, socially, and even economically. So make sure you check that out. Let's get right into what's happening today. I want to start with this. California is burning yet again. Orange County, California, about an hour and 20 minutes from where I'm making this video right now. Burning, 70,000 people evacuated. So the winds have kicked up today, this morning. A fire started, it was around, I think, 2,000 acres. It threatened homes, and 70,000 people had to be evacuated. So it's just another troublesome time in California. Close to 400,000 people are without power up in Northern California because of the winds. They've cut off power because they don't want power lines falling and starting another big fire. So here we are in California, massive debt, power outages, and now another huge fire with 70,000 people in Orange County, California, evacuated in the Irvine area. Just another tragedy here in this state. I cannot tell you how much I look forward to leaving California at some point permanently. So many things happening here in California, but it's another reminder of why you must be prepared, have your preps topped off, have a place to get to in case of emergency if you can. But it's just another reason. Your power could be cut off at any point because of wind or an earthquake or whatever. And so you need to make sure that if you're in California, if you're anywhere in America, you need to have preparations. You need to have food and water put away, because anything in 2020, heading into 2021 is possible. And here we are, the fifth largest economy in the world, and people, 400,000 people don't have power tonight, massive fires burning, windstorms, and we have huge financial problems here in California. So the problems continue to get worse in this state. I cannot wait to get out. But next thing I want to talk about is the stock market. We saw some turbulence today. Dow Jones, markets across the board down. Dow Jones down 650 points. And my concern is this: if we continue to see more turbulence, I don't think there's going to be any help from the Fed. I think that they're not going to get involved at this point, this close to the election. So will we see more turbulence in these markets heading into tomorrow? I looked at the futures market. Dow is up about 67 points right now. Everything's up. But who knows what happens tomorrow morning when the markets open. Please comment down below. What do you expect to transpire in these markets this coming week, starting tomorrow? Will they continue to fall under pressure? Will we see a pullback, or will things go back to normal tomorrow? The Dow Jones, again, down 650 points today. It was down over 900 points at one point. And they're blaming all this on this infection, but we all know why the markets are down, because they're waiting for another injection. They're waiting for more stimulus. These markets don't care about the real economy. They don't care about jobs. These markets don't care about infections. What they do care about is stimulus. These markets are addicted to stimulus. They're addicted to Fed injections. They could care less about anything else. So I do believe if we do come under some pressure here, this close to the election, I believe we're not going to see any plunge protection teams. I don't see any help from the Fed coming. So we'll see what happens. Everything could resort right back to normal tomorrow. Right now, markets are up tonight. But we could see a pullback. We could see volatility. So don't rule it out. Couple articles today. This one on the hedge I was reading this morning. New York City hotel occupancy rate crashes towards 10% as permanent closures loom. And I bring this up because I drove by some of the larger resorts yesterday in my area, and they were completely closed. And I don't know if they're closed permanently. I was at the Renaissance yesterday. That's on my Patreon channel. Just uploaded a new video yesterday. Check that out. But I filmed a video at the Renaissance in Indian Wells yesterday, and maybe 20% occupancy, maybe. 20, 30 people at the pool, very large resort, nobody there. There was another resort across the street completely closed down. So I don't know if that's permanent, but what we're seeing here, problems in Vegas. They're saying that occupancy in Vegas now on the weekend is 50%, weekday around 25%. We're seeing horrendous numbers here with leisure and hospitality and the resorts. And we look at New York, the biggest city in the country, 10% occupancy. This is devastating, and it's going to be devastating to the economy. Imagine the loans on this commercial real estate and what's going to happen to it. Foreclosures, these companies just giving the keys back to the bank. And what's going to happen to the surrounding economy when people aren't visiting New York, they're not visiting Vegas, they're not visiting Palm Springs, California, they're not visiting these areas. There's a lot of jobs that rely on this, from Lyft and Uber drivers to the restaurants to the retailers, you name it, all the tax revenue that comes in these areas. My area is going to take a serious blow this year because a lot of that money from Canada, a lot of that money from Washington and Oregon just isn't going to pour into my area like it once did. I was reading about the Las Vegas rodeo that they have every year, and now it was moved to Texas. And now the question is, what happens when these conventions or these rodeos don't come to these cities? And what happens if they never come back? What if they go, we like Texas better? We're gonna go back. The conventions that come out to my area. What happens if they go to Florida or they go to Arizona and they just say, hey, you know what? We had a good time in Arizona. It was nice in Florida, so maybe we won't return to Palm Desert or Palm Springs. And so we're going to see huge changes in local economies because of what's happening. Here's another story on CNBC. Falling enrollment, lost tuition puts colleges in extreme financial distress. And the question is, maybe they need to stop paying their professors and all these employees at these colleges so much money. If you look at how much some of these professors are making at these universities, it's insane. The money that these universities are charging for a degree, which is pretty much useless at this point. Maybe they need to start taking a cut. Maybe some of them need to close down. But we're going to see a big fallout in a lot of these universities and colleges. Universities have furloughed thousands of employees and announced revenue losses in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So what kind of fallout is that going to have with the U.S. economy? We're going to find out. CMBS borrowers are giving back the keys to their properties in droves. So commercial mortgage-backed securities. Buyers are indicating, according to this article in The Hedge, they're indicating a willingness to give back the keys. And I wrote down just a couple notes here. When you look at the percentages of these sectors that are willing to just walk away, it's mind-blowing. Community shopping centers, 8.51% are now willing to just walk away, give back the keys to the bank. Regional malls, 26.6% willing to just give the keys back and close shop. Limited service hotels, 18.09%, willing to just say, hey, Mr. Bank, here's the keys, we're done, we're walking away. And the question is now, we're seeing what's happening in the commercial markets. What's going to happen in the residential housing market? One of the biggest bubbles in history. September sales down. What a surprise. Nobody has a job. People are taking wage cuts. Massive uncertainty politically, socially, and economically in America. And sales are down in September. What a surprise. I believe that housing sales are completely propped up when we look at how many people now are doing HELOCs and they're counting those as sales when we're not taking into consideration how many of these sales are institutional, big companies coming in and buying these properties that they're going to use as rental properties, and then the small, medium investors that are coming in. Because when you look at the average income of an American right now, it's amazing that anybody can even qualify to buy a house right now. It really is. But again, people are using homes as ATMs. They're refining their houses. This is being counted as a sale. And so I think that we're going to see some very, very serious trouble beginning in 2021 in the housing bubble. Let's not forget the 4+ million homes in forbearance. And let's not forget all these landlords who have basically gotten burned this year. They're not going to want to be a landlord next year. As soon as these rental moratoriums expire, they're going to cash out. They're going to put these houses on the market, a lot of them, and we're going to see a flood of apartment buildings. We're going to see a flood of condos. We're going to see a flood of single-family residences put on the market because they're done with the business. The landlords are going to get out, many of them. Borrowers potentially handing back the keys also in residential real estate. How many people in forbearance are just going to be, hey, my job never came back. I don't have a job to return to. I can't afford this house. Here's the keys. Right now, this list in commercial real estate includes $39 billion in outstanding commercial mortgage-backed security loan balances. And so that's a lot of money where it may just come back to the bank. So what is the bank going to do when $40 billion of commercial real estate gets just dropped off in an envelope, the keys just dropped right off at the front door of the bank, $40 billion of worth of commercial real estate. And this is just the beginning. Wait till 2021. This number is going to get much, much bigger. But you know, when we take into account all this, just some of the stuff I just touched on this evening, I can't reiterate enough these massive bubbles and the explosions we're going to see when these bubbles pop coming very, very soon. I don't make predictions. I don't have a crystal ball, but I would be absolutely shocked if we didn't see a lot of these bubbles burst in 2021. The housing bubble, the stock market bubble, the bond bubble, the commercial real estate bubble, the bubbles go on and on and on. And when you don't have people working in America, when people are taking wage cuts, when people are losing side hustles, when people don't have enough food to feed their families, when there's no opportunity, when there's limited opportunity, when there's wealth inequality, it's a recipe for disaster, and it's not going to be avoided, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to make a quick video this evening, check in with everybody. Very interesting day on Wall Street. We'll see if it bounces back tomorrow. Wouldn't shock me. Why wouldn't it? These markets know that the stimulus is right around the corner. If they don't get it before the election, the markets will get it after the election. And look to see gold and silver go absolutely ballistic when this stimulus hits these markets. It's going to go absolutely ballistic. So mining stocks look very inviting. Physical gold, physical silver, I think that they're going to go nowhere but straight up. Everything is now waiting on stimulus. This is the economy that we have now. It's so fake. Nothing else matters but stimulus. People are now dependent, debt slaves, to receive stimulus just to eat, just to get by. The stock market dependent on stimulus. Really, really dangerous and crazy times here in America. So I'm going to leave it there this evening. Please comment down below what's going to happen with these markets this week. Are they going to get crushed, or are they just going to keep limping along, waiting for more stimulus? It's just amazing that we're watching a stock market that's like a drug addict, just waiting for that next hit. It needs that next Fed injection to keep going. Doesn't care about you, your job. It doesn't care about any infection. It doesn't care about commercial real estate. It doesn't care about debt. It doesn't care about anything except the next injection. So everything is in the twilight zone. Everything now is an illusion. So most of all, before I leave you tonight, make sure you are protecting yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. God bless everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Talk to all of you very, very soon.